Boom, baby,
All
we're
right.
live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Tokyo Crypto Show. Season 2, episode 160. Is the bull market over? We have a crypto market health update because there's a lot going on in crypto right now. We are working around the clock behind the scenes with monitoring everything. And we've had some scary drops for, the average person. But luckily, with our data-driven approach behind the scenes, we are looking at the market right now, and things are looking okay. I'm joined here by the panel of guys. Guys, what's up? Welcome aboard. Thanks for being here.
Yo.
So, what we're going to do here is we're just going to break this down pretty simply. The market is kind of in this cool off period. Now, the biggest thing here is that if you're paying attention to what is going on at on the Solana chain and what's going on with these meme coins that are getting rugged left and right, the sentiment is really bad right now in general crypto Twitter. And so what sentiment is just, it's kind of like the emotion of the collective cryptocurrency market as a whole. And people are not in a good place right now. A lot of people are upset. A lot of people are losing money. And that's because a lot of people are gambling on meme coins, and gambling is the real word. Moving forward here, we have a lot to discuss on today's episode. Louis Raskin, he is a crypto trader, investor, and influencer who publicly called the top in November 2021 on the previous bull run. He will be doing some chart analysis for us whenever he's ready. So we're going to go ahead and be diving deep into that. So if you have a question that's urgent, send a super chat. We are going to prioritize super chats just so there's some structure and order to the show. Your money is on the line, and I'm telling you, for some of you guys, just pay attention. This is when you want to pay attention right now. When the sentiment is low, and nobody really cares about crypto, when people are kind of like, oh, I'm really not interested anymore. This is where you make money, because I think we're gonna go publicly on the record, and everybody now is gonna be knowing that the bull market is indeed not over. Who here thinks the bull market is not over? Show of hands. Okay. And so you have 6 professionals across every board here. Remember, Stock Market Steve is actually working right now as an analyst in an investment firm, as well as James BTC. He's up in he's broadcasting from a monastery. He's helping out the Catholic children up in Angeles City. He's doing the Lord's work. But we got the whole panel here. So what we're gonna do, Louis, just jump right into it. Give us a little bit of a look at what's going on with the charts in regards to Bitcoin. We can briefly touch. We'll look through Bitcoin, Solana, and then we'll briefly touch on Ethereum just to check on the rate that it's dying at.
Okay, sounds good. If you could hear me all right, then
could you just zoom in on the left side of the graph, like the right side of those tickers and all that stuff? It's just a little harder for everybody. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, just big picture type stuff. I always keep this chart in my mind and just like look at it. This is basically just saying what the 4-year cycle has done ever since Bitcoin was invented. And so we still, according to the 4-year cycle, which it worked out perfectly last cycle, worked out perfectly the cycle before that, worked out the cycle before that. It's the same thing that keeps on happening over and over and over again. According to that, the high should be somewhere around September of this year. So that does give us what, like 7 more months or something like that, 8 more months until the theoretical cycle 4-year cycle high. The thing that is a little concerning for me is the fact that if you do connect all of these highs, we did, we tapped it back here in December, and like even if we go sideways and then come back up, it still only puts us at like 116 to 120. But I am thinking that there is a big possibility of actually Bitcoin itself having having a super cycle type deal, thanks to the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve and Trump and all of the institutions, everything going into Bitcoin. Bitcoin has like decoupled from the other altcoins and the other coins in the market. And you could tell that right now, considering that if you look at Bitcoin's price, it is $96,800, while everything else is down 80, 60, 50, 60, 70, 80% from the highs, right? So when I'm looking at this now, like basically what I do, let me get rid of this. When I'm looking at Bitcoin, I'm just saying, okay, it's in a range that it's been in ever since November of 2024. And it's just up and down and up and down, 91,000 to basically 104. It did pop up to 108, but like 91,000, 104,000, 91,000, 104,000, 91,000, 103,000, 91,000, 108,000, 91,000. Like it's the same. It's like it's literally playing ping pong right now. So if actually, wait a minute, let me look at this weekly chart one more time. Okay, so it's 3 more days, but I was going to say this is setting up to be a nice looking candle on the weekly chart. But and on the 5-day, the previous 5-day is a pretty nice bullish candle as well, and the 3-day is setting up to be a decently bullish candle as well. So I like to go down to at least the daily though, or the 12 hours, really what I like to use. And what I'm looking at is pretty much like, okay, if you don't know what's going on or anything, you could see that this whole area where I highlighted green, it's a major support, and this whole area that I highlighted red is a major resistance. So what do you typically want to do? You want to buy at the support, you want to sell at the resistance. So it's a little bit tricky right now, considering that this past 12-hour candles are actually sort of bullish. But personally, I would like to get in if it comes down to 92 to 90,000, maybe 89,000. And considering how much craziness is happening in the market, all the scams and everyone that's the sentiment being the lowest it's ever been, and everyone just siphoning money from the market, it's a little surprising that Bitcoin is holding up so well. So that's really good, because typically in bear markets, if you have really, really bad news, which like what we've been having is bad news, and the market is still holding up, or a coin is still holding up, then that coin is really strong. So I like Bitcoin. I'm still a big believer in Bitcoin. I do believe that we will see new all-time highs in Bitcoin. And if it comes down to 91,000 again, then that's a pretty clear buy for me. And I don't really see any reason to be bearish on Bitcoin right now. And so then we could go on to, I guess Solana is the next one to go on to. So we have Solana, and the thing about Solana that is a little bit worrisome for me is the fundamental stuff that's happening right now with a lot of teams for some big projects that were using Solana, and their implications in a lot of the scams. So it is worrisome. I had a lot of bids right underneath this big wick, because typically you see the price move down underneath the wick to stop everyone out and then shoot up. And that is a possibility. You could see that we are in this zone, in this really good zone. However, what I like to do is go into like lower time frames and look for really, really bullish setups. And I see like this bullish candle, but then I see it completely retraced the next one, and actually it if we zoom in a little bit, this red candle engulfed the previous bullish one. So I am a little hesitant on Solana. I mean, technically, it's not a bad level. Typically, what happens is there's what's known as a return to the origin of the move. So you can see this was the last candle right here that went down before it shot all the way back up. And a lot of times, institutions, what they'll do is they'll move price all the way back down to the origin of the move and then buy even more. And so we're there now and putting in some long wicks. So it's pretty much a case of we should be holding here. And if we don't, then 111 or I guess 117 is in the cards. And so I'm sort of looking at this chart at Solana and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, I want to see some like really bullish candles form in this area. And if that happens, then I would like to go in as a trader. As a fundamental person, I think it's an okay price to get into, except I would only put a smaller amount in. But of course, you have to look at whatever chart you're looking at, you have to compare it to Bitcoin because everything is going against Bitcoin ultimately. Everyone is in crypto to stack sats and Bitcoin is the leader. So you have to compare it to Bitcoin. And looking at this one, you can actually see that it's been pretty much in a range. I guess this one now you could bring this instead of being looking like that, it could be horizontal now. But yeah, it's pretty much been against Bitcoin ever since December, going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I don't like how it broke down below that this big range. That is pretty bearish for me, which is also the reason why I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm going to buy something, like I might as well buy Bitcoin until I could look at this and really say like, okay, the Solana against Bitcoin, Solana looks better. And so I am also looking at the Solana against Bitcoin chart and looking for some type of bullish formation to form before I would feel like super comfortable to go in. But once again, like you could see, it looked okay. It's looking okay. It's looking okay. But then the last 12 hours, the price, slammed all the way back down and there was no recovery. So every time there's a wick, there's a long wick to the downside. That means a ton of buyers came in, and that's typically pretty bullish. But now, so a ton of buyers came in, and now, no buyers really came in because there's not really a huge wick down here. So I'm waiting. I'm cautious on Solana right now, but I would like to get in. If you look at the long-term chart, you could take the Fibonacci, which is my favorite indicator, from the bottom to the top, and somewhere around it within this box is this golden ratio, which I've seen get hit a million times over. And not only is it the golden ratio, but there is, which is a Fibonacci number, but there's also this move right here. And remember how I said a lot of times market makers like to send the price all the way back down to the origin of the move. Well, that's this right here, this down candle before the move up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce if the Solana against Bitcoin comes down into this area. And so this is where I would be like more excited to get into it. And that's what I'm looking at for Solana. And then ultimately down the road, I think once it comes back up to this area, this is when you should be pretty cautious. And for me personally, if it reaches the 2021 highs, Solana against Bitcoin, that's when I want to just be completely out of the market. That's when I think the top of the market will actually come, is if it reaches here.
Lou, we got a quick question for you because Alex can't be here, but he did send us some trading notes regarding Solana. He says the volume is trending lower and lower each week as the price is going down. So the sell volume is going down every week, but also the price is. Can you explain to that now? Because it looks like we're 4 weeks down now, and we're inside the 5th of the week downside total move. He believes this will be our last downside move. Would you like to just show the volume and explain how, potentially we're probably bleeding out for now.
Okay, well, actually, okay, that's actually a mistake.
Okay.
On the part of, if some people will say if the volume is going down while the price is going down, then that's good because there's less there's less sellers, there's less people selling. But the thing is, it doesn't actually matter unless buyers come back in and the volume goes up because of buying pressure. You could have low volume and the price could keep on going down, and it could continue to go down on low volume. There's no reason for it to go up just because there's low volume. And it sucks because on the opposite side of that, if the prices are going up higher and higher and higher, but the volume is going down, then that's an indicator that the trend is, slowing down to the upside, and that it's probably going to turn around and start to go down. So if you're looking at the volume on the upside while the price is going up, if the volume is going down, then that's sign for caution, and we might move down, we might reverse. But it doesn't work the same way when the prices are going down and the volume is also going down, because you have to have volume for it to go back up, and you could indefinitely have the price keep on going down with low volume. So yeah, it's not like a bullish thing if you like thinking of it like that. But you could say at least it's not as bearish as major selling volume as the prices are going down. But you have to see some type of bullishness, whether it's in volume or whether it's in the candles, like how I really like to look at it, or in some other way, in order to flip the script from bearish to neutral to bullish. And if you look at the chart, I'm pretty, I can't be super bullish on Solana right now, because we had this clear uptrend since September, right? Like bounce, 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 and then bounce, 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 and then we broke underneath of it. So we have a break of the structure, right, of the big support trend line. And then we had this area that it bounced off of right here at like 175-ish. So it bounced off of here, bounced off of here, bounced off of here a bunch of times. And this used to be previous resistance and support resistance flip, right? So, and now we have this big resistance as well, this big resistance trend line. So it looks to me like there's a lot of resistance around this area. But the good thing is that there is a possibility that they send prices down into this area, because technically it's a scary area, and a lot of people have their stops underneath this wick, underneath this wick, underneath these wicks. So we're in the area where a lot of people just got stopped out, and a lot of liquidity was just brought back to the market makers. And so with that, now they tend to send the prices down and then send the prices back up from these areas. So if you could find, like I said before, if you know what to look for and you see good trade setups or something, then I would say, okay, it's good to go in. But until I see that, like say a really long wick bullish candle or some type of formation, I'm just going to have to be more cautious with it. And I think maybe if we get a close above like this level that it continually bounced off of multiple times, and we close above here, you could take a long with a stop loss somewhere down here and potentially target higher. But it is a good place to be cautious. I would think that if we come down to under one, like basically the previous support area, like this support down here at 135, that's when I would be like, okay, like it's in such a good value zone, I want to go in like super, super heavy. Like right now, I'm just like, I could go in, but I'd want to have a stop, and like I'm a little worried about it, and I'm a little cautious about it. Like, so that's my thoughts on Solana. You know, like right now.
Let's do a quick LOL at fucking Ethereum.
One second for
yeah,
Solana.
Go ahead, Elias.
One thing is that if the Bitcoin Solana chart starts pumping, you won't see anything on the Solana USD chart. So as a possibility, basically, because USD price doesn't change, but Bitcoin goes up. So this might be the signal to get into Solana again. If Bitcoin starts pumping, then you get into in the zone. You put into the Sol BTC chart, and it goes back up. Where the Solana BTC chart goes down because Bitcoin goes up. So you'll have your target hit on the Sol BTC chart, basically as a signal for the Sol USD chart, which doesn't have to change for this to happen, to turn bullish soon. Just so as basically an entry signal idea.
Are you saying this is the Solana against the Bitcoin chart, right? And yep. I have my buy area down here for Solana against Bitcoin. So are you saying that this chart could go down because Solana could stay the same price, but Bitcoin could move up in price? Yep. And so that would make Solana against Bitcoin move down and reach the zone, even if the price of Solana doesn't actually move.
Yeah, so if the resistance holds there, this might be a buy signal, basically. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. This could reach this area without Solana actually like moving in price on against USD. It could stay around here if Bitcoin moves up and Solana stays the same. And so, yeah, that's just my thoughts on Solana. And then let's look at Ethereum. You know, so looking at ETH. Let me get rid of this. This is the Ethereum against Bitcoin chart. And for the 100th time this year, we've reached a new support area on it. And, you know, I used to say this is the time to buy because it should pump from here, and it should pump from here, and it should like basically when it came down here, like it should pump from here, and like it did, but then like it rolled over, and then like right here it should pump from here, and it did, and then it rolled over. And it's like every single time you say it should pump from here, like it pumps for a little bit and then it rolls over. So yes, we're at an area where it should pump against Bitcoin, and but like, is it gonna pump and then just roll over, or what? Because we broke down below this channel that we've been that was since 2022. It's so bad. Just like ETH is so bad. The good news is that I guess it's not going down in a straight line anymore, you know, and we're sort of consolidating around here for the last 2 weeks for Ethereum against Bitcoin. Honestly, I don't think it's the worst. I don't think it's the worst play. I know you're not totally with me on that one, but there's two different scenarios that I have for ETH. One is waiting until it comes back down below this wick, this huge wick that we had on the 3rd, because like I said before, I've seen it so many times where the price will have a huge wick, come back up, and then slowly drizzle down, and then have like a one more wick right underneath of it to collect everyone's stop losses and all the liquidity that's underneath, and then it just pumps up like crazy from there. So I did circle this area, plus it's a previous support, which is really good, like really good support, anywhere between 2,300 and 2,000 or 2,100. And so I would love to pick it up right there, but right now I can't deny the fact that it looks like we were coming down, and then we put in this triangle or this flag, bull pennant, whatever you want to call it. And then we broke above the resistance, retested it, and now we're heading up. So technically, this is a bullish chart on this, I guess you could say, shorter term time frame. But I mean, 12 hours isn't really that short of a time frame with crypto. So technically, I would be okay to actually long Ethereum here, simply because it's higher high. Here's the low, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Like, it's putting in higher lows, and finally now it just put in a higher high. So we had the high, higher high, higher high, and so yeah, Ethereum honestly doesn't look too bad right here. You could pretty much get in and then say, look, like, if it closes underneath this trend line right here, then you could get out. But yeah, that's pretty much what I would say for Ethereum. It's not the worst looking chart. There's but if it comes down here, it's an automatic buy for me. Right now, I could take some trades on it, and I wouldn't be too mad about it. Yeah, and that's about it for that. The other thing that I could think of is
we're gonna move on. Let's I want to go to Elias and kind of get around to the group. But thank you, because that was extremely in depth and valuable. What we're gonna do now, you could just pull that off the backstage there, Lou. Elias, real quick, you wanted to add something because you're working there on the ground level with the mining, and you wanted to talk about your perspective real quick. Go ahead, brother. Just unmute yourself.
Oh, now it's working. I'm also going to share my screen real quick.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, can you see this well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. What I basically wanted to say as an intro to this is we've seen a drop of 17% so far since December 2024 in Bitcoin, or let's say 18%.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back and look at other bull markets we see 23%, 30%, over 20%. If we go back even more to the 2017 bull market, we see something between 27 and over 40% in drops during the run-up. So basically, it feels shitty, but in the end, I don't think we're at a scary point right now. For the mining overview, it's also the average mining cost is at about 87K. So miners are still making about 10% in profits, even though we've been going down for weeks now. So they don't have to sell. They know the bull market is ahead, or at least higher prices are ahead, most likely, which leads to them investing in new mining equipment or stacking their Bitcoin to sell at a higher price. This is basically the 6 months of the highest profit they have in the 4-year cycle. And you can also see on the Bitcoin blockchain itself, we've been at 1 sat per rebyte, so 1 Satoshi of fees per byte you send at the transaction costs, and we're back up to 3 or 4 right now, which is still extremely low, but people are doing more transactions on the blockchain again, which means just higher activity in general and bigger interest in Bitcoin, and also the miner profitability will go up. We'll most likely have a difficulty drop, so less competition on the chain because some miners have switched off and are just in hodling mode to sell at higher prices, and we'll have this change in about 3 days. In general, the hash rate is still going up. So especially in the US, people are investing big into Bitcoin and into the Bitcoin blockchain long-term via mining. And mining farms are still getting investors' money without any big problems. The only big change we've seen is bigger institutions like BlackRock pulling out of some mining companies that have invested into GPU mining and AI. So they basically built out more data centers to host mainly NVIDIA graphics cards for AI computations. So for your ChatGPT stuff, what's happening in the background, basically. And this is much less profitable than they saw, and also some followed from the DeepSeek from the DeepSeek publication a few weeks back. Is basically that it might be that we need less GPUs to actually use AI models. So BlackRock and some other bigger institutions have been pulling out money and selling stock of companies that have invested into the AI data center stuff. And to wrap it up for the Bitcoin mining part, I think we'll see less selling pressure and maybe even buying pressure from miners overall, as they try to maximize their profits into the last months of the bull market in 2025. And we can also see this overall trend, or I'd say basically a bullish sentiment if we look at the timelines. So we look at the timelines, and we've had 1,065 days from low to top for the last cycles each time, or 1,066 days. And if we look at this and put it from the last low, this would put us to October 2025. And in this, I don't see any data that would suggest that it should be different this time. So basically, if we check last week's episode, nothing has changed, in my opinion. All the indicators are looking good. We don't have the pi cycle top getting anyway nearer. It's getting a bit nearer, but it's not as near as to call the top. Then we have the 200 EMA with the basically with the top signal that it might hit this area where the cross between the date of where we think, or where I think the next top will be, and the last top's horizontal line or price is. We're not seeing this getting hit anytime soon. It also points to October, or around October 2025. And one thing that might be interesting is, or even overly bullish, is that if we look at the stock to flow ratio, which is painted in white here, this would put us at a price of over 500K, which is a bit high in my opinion. I wouldn't count on that in any way. But if we take the price pattern of the 2017 bull market and we put it at the halving of this year's or this cycle's price pattern, it exactly matches or crosses the current stock to flow ratio price of over 500K in October 2025. So this is also, might just be a hint, might be too much interpretation, but it also hints at the same time on an overall view. And what is more important in this chart, in my opinion, is that if we look at the stochastic RSI, we've seen the RSI going over 85, going into the red zone for each all-time high we've seen in each single cycle, at least once. In the 2021 cycle, it even was at the first top of the double top. And we haven't seen this in any way so far. So for me, I sometimes thought, hey, maybe we will get a double top this time too. But since the RSI is sitting down here at around 70, 75, which is normal for the run-up phase, like we see here in 2017, I don't think we'll get a double top, and we'll just have to wait a bit more to see the exponential price surges, if we see some. And this is basically extremely bullish from my perspective so far. And that's it.
Looking great. I mean, in detailed work there, but looking at this, I mean, we have so much to cover. I'm just going to jump right into it. Steve, or James, did you want to add anything to that? Or Steve, do you want me to tag you in? James, you could go after, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. Steve can go.
Sure.
Yeah. Guys, FYI, so James is his internet is in a hotel. He's not necessarily having the best internet, so he may chop in or out. Steve, you're good, right? Are you jacked in? You locked in, or are you on Wi-Fi?
I'm on just the regular room Wi-Fi, but it's fast here. Generally speaking, with the overall market, what I expect is still a bull market for 2025. However, it's going to be longer, more prolonged, probably more suffering involved. It's going to require a lot more patience than 2020 or 2021 did. However, the overall underlying conditions are still fundamentally good. I personally expect, based on the data that we're seeing, that the earliest we're going to get an interest rate cut would be, if we're lucky, June. I personally expect September, given what Jerome Powell has been saying, and based on his relative cautiousness with his past decisions, as in, personally, I think he moves way too slowly. However, given that he's generally pretty slow to act, I'm expecting cuts in and around probably September 2025, which means that we have quite the long waiting time. Now, could conditions improve? Yes. Could earnings continue to go higher and higher? And do I expect them to improve? Yes. Do I think that the general economy and the way that the market cares about it will hold firm enough until September? Yes. However, I do still expect, as I've repeated many, many times, that the real jobs growth creation numbers are going to continue to trend downward and reliably trend downward as they have reliably been showing since around maybe give or take 2022. This will ultimately force their hand, not to mention winter usually posts some of the highest inflation figures historically. It seems like Jerome's forgotten about that for some reason. I don't know why. Him and his team are supposed to be the experts, but literally any old Joe Sam can look up the historical data on this. So I expect inflation to be cooler in the summer as well as the upcoming fall period, which, in and around September, that'll give them the breathing room to go ahead and cut rates. Right. Ultimately, they need to support new jobs creation. Sure, the economy is going well for the wealthy. Sure, American spending is up. Sure, the upper middle class and the wealthy in the United States are doing well, and that's driving earnings, and that's great. Awesome. Market stability. But the Federal Reserve still has to honor their two-way mandate, and real jobs creation is falling. Sure, the quits rate is down. The firing rate is down. Layoffs are down. Yes, companies are trying to retain their teams a lot more. But if we don't have new jobs creation, which is what the Federal Reserve is chiefly looking at when they make these decisions, as well as the core inflation rate, I'm expecting cooler inflation as we advance into the year. And I'm expecting lower and lower jobs figures, generally speaking, in terms of new jobs creation, not necessarily layoffs. I'm expecting the unemployment rate to stay around the same, quite honestly. I think we could expect cuts in the fall to winter period. For these reasons, I'm still bullish. And as I mentioned, for other reasons such as earnings, GDP, spending figures, the underlying economy is still good in the ways that are relevant for the market and for asset holders. So for this reason, I am moderately bullish about 2025. However, it's going to be long. It's going to be painful. There's going to be some downturns. Admittedly, yes, the Federal Reserve is also interpreting Trump's tariffs policy as potentially inflationary, and we don't know what he will or won't do exactly in laying out tariffs. A lot of that's going to be dependent on foreign countries' responses. If Trump issues a request to them or a demand to them and they refuse it, he might lay down tariffs galore. If they accept his demand, he won't lay down as many tariffs or any tariffs at all as we've been seeing so far. For these reasons, we don't really know how far he will or won't go with that. Admittedly, so far, the markets mostly don't like tariffs, spare things like industrial manufacturer stocks. So for that reason, I'm generally hoping that he lays off and uses them more as a tool of political bargaining rather than solid economic policy. Whether or not they might work in the long term, I don't actually know. But what I do know is that the markets don't like the tariffs, and that's how their imagination concerns the tariffs, and that's how they will react to the tariffs. So if we see a really heavy tariff policy and a very heavy-handed one going to country A and country B and so on, that's not going to be good for our position, right? So I'll be closely monitoring that as well. For these reasons, generally speaking, I am tepidly bullish for 2025, which means, yes, I am bullish. It's just not going to be the crazy, crazy froth and the immediate gains and the super easy lickety split gains that we saw in 2020 and 2021. The amount that we gain could actually be quite bigger, especially if the Federal Reserve begins quantitative easing or money printing, if you will. If they engage in money printing in the summer period, at which I roughly expect them to do, they'll probably start in either the summer to fall period for their quantitative easing policy. If they do that, that would also be massively bullish for markets because quantitative easing prefers risk on assets such as tech stocks and crypto. That's roughly the update I have today for though, guys.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much. Really in-depth analysis there. Oops, sorry. Let's go back to the setup. Okay, real quick. Jason L, 999 super chat. This is the info I was looking for. I'm 99% in Bitcoin and Solana. James, I'd just like to pass it off to you real quick. Just your overall take on the market, kind of add it on to Steve's TradFi approach, because you're like where TradFi bridges into crypto on the panel here. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me share my screen here.
Okay.
I mean, I think everything is kind of going as we think it is, but it's just taking time, right? And everything in trading and investing takes time, unless you're into poop coin or stuff like that. There's more again. Here,
The new one.
on the news front, again, like one of the big news is the Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund. They just disclosed that they bought close to $500 million worth of Bitcoin ETF shares in fourth quarter of 2024. So under their hedge fund, Hunting Hills Capital bought $131 million worth of ETFs. So the public funds and the institutional players are jumping in, and they're just not jumping in at the pace that we would like them to, right? Give me another second here. Let me share this other thing. Okay. And here's another piece of news. Here is, can you guys see the screen, the chart? Here is the ETF buyer by the type in 2024. You see how much came in by quarter and by different types, right? And we got hedge funds coming in first quarter and fourth quarter. We got your pension funds coming in. You got
James,
your government funds coming in.
And can you hit control and the plus sign just to zoom in a little bit to make it bigger for the guys, people at home?
Here? Better?
Way better. Thank
Better?
you so much. Yeah,
Okay.
perfectly. Now they can see perfectly.
Yeah, so this is what, okay, this is how the y-axis are number of, or thousands of Bitcoin. It's not dollars. It's a BTCs, 1,000 BTCs. So here is 160,000 BTC. It's a 2024 quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you can see, a lot of money came in first quarter when the ETF were launched. Second and third quarter, we were kind of cool off. Then a lot of money came in on the fourth quarter. As you can see here, we got a lot of hedge funds coming in, brokerages coming in, banks, government entities, insurance company. What's the big one here? It'll be not as much family office, I thought, but investment advisors, they're jumping in now. And banks are jumping in now, right, with the new accounting change rules. So the retail and institutional players are coming in. It's just that other things are going on in background, like the whole meme mania, right? The meme coin mania kind of took a lot of the liquidity out of the market because it was pump then dump, and that dump takes liquidity out of market. So what we're seeing is that kind of give and take of the liquidity or the market cap. And as we know, that crypto market cap have been kind of going sideways. Let me get to the thing here, guys. Total crypto market cap here. Okay. Can you guys see this?
I just gotta. There we go. Yep, we got your chart up there, brother. Thank you.
Yep. Let me look at the monthly chart. This is probably.
Mhm. So this is all the money in crypto right now. The total crypto market
Yep.
is 3.3 trillion.
3.3 trillion. It really hasn't gone anywhere since November.
Mhm.
Starting December, we've been kind of in range bound, right? Here we had a big pump for the ETF. Then we were kind of range bound. Then market got drained. Then right around the election, we had a huge pump with the Trump win. Then we've been range bound since then. So what does that mean? That means that money came in and out, but it really, there's no new money came in, but some new money went out, vice versa, right? So really, there's just been changing of hands in the market. That's why the price has been, for most of these coins, especially the Bitcoin, going sideways.
I love
So again, kind of reiterate what Steve and Lou said. I think Bitcoin might be actually having a more of a protracted cycle, right? Because we're seeing a lot of these demands that weren't there before because the ETF and accounting change rules and the institutional and the big money players coming in. So Bitcoin might be decoupling from rest of the crypto market, right? As we saw decoupling of memes from rest of the crypto market earlier last year. So now we're seeing kind of Bitcoin decoupling from the rest of the crypto market. So we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on two things now, right? We got to keep an eye on Bitcoin, which is kind of its own beast now by itself. Then you got to look at the rest of the crypto market. And I think Bitcoin is going to have more of that protracted bull cycle, but we might see the rest of the crypto market still kind of following that 4-year the traditional cycle schedule.
Yeah, I mean, looking at everything here, we're just basically entering to this unfortunately long and uncool consolidation phase. It seems, in my opinion, on multiple pieces of data. Adam, you're the deep crypto expert. Do you want to go ahead and just give your take on what's going on in general? Because you've been kind of halfway in, halfway out, but you're still watching from the side.
Yeah, so I'm gonna. Oh, let me see. 1 second.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time.
It's asking me to leave and enter the call again. Give me a second.
Yeah, no problem. We'll handle that right now. And in the meantime, I'll just do my part real quick because I want to show you guys. So again, right now, let's be honest about everything. Okay, the market is flat, and there's not a lot of action that you guys at home are really looking for. And in my opinion, a big indicator for that is right here. I'm just going to pull it up real quick. So taking a look here, this is just my little segment. And Adam will bring you right on. Just give me 2 seconds to get this handled. Couple of things. Actually, let me just reshare with sound here. Okay. So couple things. So this is HODL 15 Capital. If you want to make money in cryptocurrency and you're not tracking the daily inflows, you are leaving the most valuable piece of data on the table for you to analyze the market and get your money rocking and rolling. You have the GBTC. This is Grayscale and Grayscale Mailing, both with 0 inflows. You have BitB, which is Bitwise, 0 inflows. Arc Capital selling 8 million. Fidelity selling 48 million. And then BlackRock just reported 13 minutes ago, 0 today. So when you see this and then you see that the price is not looking so hot, there is a gigantic correlation. And what James was showing you in the beginning was in 2024, the accumulation in Q1 was massive, and that set us up for a all-time high on March 14th, 2024, where Bitcoin stayed at that all-time high, approximately $73,000 per Bitcoin, right? And that was right around here, this little area here. As you can see, the y-axis here, the up and down, that's multicolored. That's how much is being bought. And so this was, you're having $750,000 or 750 million here. The next day, you're having 680 million there. You're just having these days 900 million, 600 million, all these phenomenal phenomenal, large amounts of money flowing into the asset and sending it to all-time highs in March and upwards as well, because it was smashing all-time highs as it hit its all-time high in March. But if you take a look here now, and we're just going to click on year to date, okay, and then this is where we are. So as you can see, this is we started off the year with 100 million and then 900 million. So in 2 days we had $1 billion right there, and then we had another $1 billion in the next week, and then we had $500 million sell, and we had another 185 million sell, and then 300 million sell, and then just a small day of 18 million up, and then these were like pretty much the last big day. This was our last biggest day when we had 820 million in, but then it just kind of dwindled off. And if you look at your portfolio at home from January 22nd moving forward, I'm pretty sure you saw a downward trend in your portfolio from the 22nd onward. And if you just click on the 1 month now, this is the best we had in a 1 month time frame was the 21st, right? And if you actually look at February, everybody was saying February is the altcoin month. February is going to do its thing. I kind of said it wasn't. I think at this point there was a portion where I was thinking maybe the bull run is over. I personally was thinking that, but we did have the largest liquidation event in the history of crypto a couple of weeks ago, and these numbers are abysmal. So if there's no in this bull market here, if there are no inflows, there's no movement. We have never had a period during this entire bull run where we had massive crypto movement in price and volume going upwards without the ETFs. So the number one thing is, if you're at home analyzing the markets and you're not paying attention to the ETFs, the most publicly available, easiest piece of data to acquire for anybody at home, you could literally type it into AI. Tell me, just type into any AI, Grok, OpenAI, DeepSeek, Olama, whatever. You could say, hey, what are the daily inflows for Bitcoin in this, this month? And if it's trained up to the data point where you're searching, it'll give you the information. I do know Grok is updated daily. Grok is honestly, I don't know if it's the best AI, but it's the one that I like to use because I think it's the easiest interface and it's like the least woke.
Also, for Grok, Grok uses Twitter, right? It uses X to gather all of its information. So especially with crypto, I just switched yesterday from OpenAI ChatGPT over to Grok because you get that info specifically for crypto in Grok.
Yes,
so you're right.
I mean, you got to be looking at these things real quick. I'm going to tap in. Go ahead, buddy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. One more quick note that I'd also like to add, since you're talking about institutional investment and institutional interest in terms of where they're feeling. Just today, as of February 19th at the market close, the S&P 500 posted its all-time high.
That's right.
And it would be institutions driving that. And there's a lot of risk on stocks that make up the S&P 500. So if they're willing to take risk there, and if institutions are what have been driving the crypto market so far with the ETFs, perhaps that same behavior could be reflected in the crypto markets in the upcoming months. That's a little bit more speculative and a little bit more theory. However, clearly, since institutions are not diving after bonds and treasuries and that kind of thing, I mean, sure, gold has been surging, but that's more because of the central banks around the world buying up gold rather than investment institutions so much doing so. So investment institutions are clearly still risk on minded, and we could see some of that reflected in crypto markets in the upcoming months as well. Potentially speeding things up, though I'm a little bit less confident on this call, a little bit more speculative on that.
Okay. And I've just got some breaking news. So it just literally was sent to Watcher Guru right now. And I wanted to talk about this. At first, this was speculation, but now the president of the United States has officially come out and said this. And I think this is bullish as well. This is a bullish narrative because of what happened in 2021. I think a lot of people seem to forget also in 2021, I think a big reason why we had so much price action in the 2021 bull market is because we were all locked down in our homes and the government was sending stimulus monies. Now, if I didn't get any of the stimulus money, what was it $2,700 checks was what was sent out? in 2021? Guys in the chat, let me know what was the stimulus amount and what state were you in or country? Because I know they did stimulus as
More
well.
than that. More than
In
that.
Japan, they gave out a whopping $700 to everybody in the country. It's so generous of the Japanese people. You could buy one piece of ramen with that, one noodle, one ramen noodle.
They did it twice.
Did Japan do it twice?
Yeah.
Okay. The other player, can you tell me what state you're in? He says, I got 1,200. I got 1,200 in Pennsylvania, and I got 1,400 stimulus. Okay. Yeah, chat, let me know. Oh, in Utah, great. I got 2 checks for 1,000 in Florida. Phenomenal. Thank you, BS Profile. I need this data because I'm going to give you guys a really good data point, but I need you guys to put in your information in the chat. So dust the Cheetos off your fingers and give us some typing in the chat. Put down the bong. Close all the Pornhub tabs. I know you're watching us here. You get multitasking, but I need to hear from you guys in the chat because I want to know exactly how much was your stimulus payment. And see, William, well, you have money, so that doesn't matter.
I think I got 1,400.
You got 1,400. Illinois got 1,200. Okay, and so that was a huge component to a lot of people gambling in 2021, which is like meme coins and more so it was either Shiba or NFTs, right? Thank you. If you guys got 0, I don't need to know that. It doesn't change anything, but thank you guys for the data. But taking a look here now, this is something that was proposed. This is called the DOGE dividend. Elon Musk said DOGE is considering sending $5,000 refund checks to U.S. taxpayers. This plan would send 79 million households a total of 400 billion, which is 20% of DOGE's projected savings by 2026. What does this mean? And you can see here, this is the actual data. DOGE is targeting $2 trillion in total savings, taking 20% of this 400 billion and returning it to the 79 million U.S. households that will be net payers in the federal tax income year in 2025 as a tax refund called the DOGE dividend. Okay. Yeah, that's something big. And then so officially, it was just released now, literally 8 minutes ago. President Trump confirms that he does indeed support a DOGE dividend. So here's the thing. Okay, now how does this relate to you at home? Okay, let's just clip President Trump. We'll go back to that. How does that relate to you at home? Real quick, I want to tell you this because it's super important. Okay, so the reason why right now crypto is kind of taking a dump, right? In my opinion, is because and I was talking with Lou about this earlier this week because Lou and I we talk on the phone a lot about the markets as well as James. We just guys, I'm trying to let you know, like we are so dialed in behind the scenes here. It's not even funny. And we were talking about right now, there is no main narrative, right? 2024, the main narrative, first it was ETFs. Then for a little bit from September with Murad was meme coins. But I think a lot of people were focusing on, and we got a bunch of rate cuts. And then the biggest event of our time in history, I would say, as Americans, was President Donald Trump led the craziest comeback win in the history of any U.S. president. And the markets, we predicted, if you're watching the Tokyo Crypto Show, we have predicted, and we did predict that this would happen, that the markets would roar. And boy, oh boy, were we right. Now, after the Trump coin launch and he got in it, the market has kind of been, basically been just fine, just kind of trending down. So I think
we have go ahead.
Oh yeah, let me just finish. So what we did have is just we have no big narrative to hold on to now. Everybody thinks meme coins are a scam. The Libra interview has been totally insane. I'm gonna have to do a Crypto Minute episode about that, but it's not going to be a minute. It's going to be a crypto hour. And then there's just scam after scam happening right now. We're in the tail end of the 60-day cycle. Price is going down. Bitcoin's going down. ETF flow is down. There's bad news everywhere if you look at it on a surface level. Now, there is a chance that we are all on this panel, that we are all collectively wrong, because the reality is nobody knows what's going to happen. That's the truth. And anybody who tells you they do, they're insider trading, and give them my contact info so I can get some of that information from them. But in regards to the reality of the situation, nobody knows what's going to happen. But if you just think about what's going on right now, that is a huge narrative. We need people need hope. They need something in the future to cling on to. And let's be honest, no American is thinking, I'm going to get that $5,000 and save it. Every American is like drooling at that. They're chomping at the bits to go out there and spend the money, because that's what the middle class does. The middle class needs the most money out of the whole economy, because the middle class are the spenders. They have children. They want to buy minivans. They need to take the kids to, soccer, and they need to take them to baseball, football. The middle class spends money, and that's a good thing. Families spend money, and that's a good thing. So this would be a great thing, and it would give us a good stimulus for the end for the economy in America. So I'm thinking everything from what James and everybody here's told us, it looks like they are setting the stage for everything to kind of happen in Q4, in my opinion. I don't know, James, I'm going to leave it to you there if you want to go ahead.
I was going to say we had a little bit of a narrative with the AI and the AI agents, right? That was picking up a little bit of steam before all these rug pulls started happening. And I think people got like the scam fatigue by these rug pulls. And I think, we all know on the ground, the economy is doing much worse than what the Fed says, because people are getting laid off left and right. I think Facebook just laid off another 1,400 people, So there's a lot of people, without money. So that $5,000 or so DOGE dividend would definitely help a lot of people out. And I think that's the success of DOGE, as well as if you notice that there's been a lot of back and forth between Russia and America, bring the peace to Ukraine deal. I think that'll be another big, question mark that can, be resolved in market's mind. And I think that'll hopefully help the investors go risk on a little bit more.
Is there a ceasefire in Gaza and Israel right now? Have they temporarily stopped, or are they killing each other still?
I think so. Yeah, because they're releasing the hostages back and forth now, right? So,
well, like we said, we definitely need peace. You can't make money when you're at war, right? That's like in crypto. That's in the world. That's in like even the cartels. They make less money when they're at war with each other. So I think, that's a phenomenal narrative. And I think too, so you guys may not know this, but one of our analysts does work for the Department of Defense. That's all I'm going to say. And he's saying behind the scenes, they're having meetings with Ukraine, and Ukraine is in full panic mode because all the foreign aid has stopped. And with Zelensky saying half of the money sent to Ukraine didn't even show up there, it's missing. I think people like another thing is this too, just going back to the state of the government. They're laying off 6,000 people that work at the IRS tomorrow, right? I know a lot of people who are filing extensions on their taxes right now because they're like, fuck this government. I'm not paying shit until they gut this shit out. I think we're going to see a record low amount of people paying taxes for the 2024 year. You can file your taxes, that's fine, but you don't have to pay them. And I think, you don't have to be on time when you pay them. And I think a lot of people are going to be protesting to a degree here with non-payment. I'm seeing it left and right because, it's out of control. Our American government is just like a crazy, coked up stripper with an unlimited credit card who is out here just buying shit, buying her dog Louis Vuitton and buying everything she doesn't need. And she's out here out of control. And the only way you control that crazy hooker is by taking her credit card away. Everything will naturally heal with that woman if you take her credit card away. And that's what's happening right now with DOGE. That's what's happening now with the ending of the foreign aid. I think that's a phenomenal point that James brought up that completely slipped my thought there. We definitely need peace because this is a fake war. This is a money laundering war. So many people are dying, and they are just fighting the invisible, the infinite boogeyman. Look, there's anybody who thought Ukraine was going to win this war against Russia, you're retarded. I have to give you the retard alert.
Retard alert.
Because they are just like World War I, World War II. Russia does what Russia does. They just send bodies at the problem. They just like go and die for Mother Russia, and that's that's the Russian way. In the tale of World War II is everybody laments about the 6 million people that were killed in the Holocaust, but 20 million Russian people were killed during World War II, and that just was kind of brushed under the rug. So these people don't lose wars easily, and I'm thinking that I think James just lost his internet there. Welcome back, James. I think that if we get peace, what are the details of the peace? Do we have a timeline or anything? I know Ukraine is no longer allowed to be part of the conversation in regards to the negotiations.
I think things I've read so far was that Ukraine has to disarm, and that has to be they will never allow to be joined NATO. It's going to be pretty much politically independent, like a politically neutral country like Switzerland, right, or Singapore. Then there was a question of Trump wanting a payback from Ukraine for all the foreign aids we sent by having their rare earth minerals or helping them rebuild their infrastructure. So, yeah. And I think the way I read it is that Russia will keep the territories it has now. There is no going back to the pre-war, territory line where Ukraine will get some of the land back.
And they took they took Crimea under Obama, right? And then now what do they have?
I think they got. Hold on, let me look at the map here.
I got Kherson, Zaporizhia, parts of Kharkiv, Donetsk, and then most of Luhansk.
Yeah,
those are the general provinces in the east.
Okay.
That one of the big things for Russia is that they need a warm water port, right? Because all their ports, Navy base, are in the cold water, Arctic water. So having the Crimea and Odessa in that area, I think, is one of the big things that Russians want.
Yeah, I'm looking at the areas that were lost. So look, they lost. Stephen, are those in the southeastern border? Is where?
Yes.
Okay, so I think, guys, this is a quick Google search. I may be wrong, but I just want to give you guys a general idea of what we're talking about. So looking like you're talking about this area, Steve. This is Russian advancement. This is in February 2022. But this is parts of Ukraine. Is this the area you're talking about?
Yeah, it's the area in red. The area in yellow is where Ukraine pushed them away.
So Russia will maintain these pieces of land here, looks like.
Generally speaking, yes. The only catch, though, is that Ukraine currently controls a little bite in an area called Kursk, and they're looking to trade that area that they control in the Kursk region of Russia for maybe some land on their own. So those red borders might recede some, but there's no way in crap that Russia's going to trade all that just for what Ukraine controls in Kursk.
Very interesting. But I wonder. Yeah, let me ask Grok real quick. This is the Russia-Ukraine war, right?
Right, the Russo-Ukrainian war.
Right, that's the official title.
Yeah.
Okay, let's ask it real quick. Potentially end, because we're looking. I mean, they're talking and making some progress on the negotiations here. Real quick.
They are.
Grok 3 is pretty lit. It's fast. It's the newest update, and it's free for everybody, I think. Let's see. He wants to end.
Yeah, Ukraine's not really game for what Trump offered it in return for support. So if Ukraine's not going to accept Trump's sort of trade, which would be for a portion of their mineral resources, then where are they going to get where they've been getting the bulk of their military equipment from. At the end of the day, Europe does not have the defense industrial base to support Ukraine's needs. If the US were to exit, not enough European countries would be excited for that. I mean, the Poles like to support Ukraine. France and the UK are very big on it. Germany is a little less enthusiastic, but you have plenty of opposing voices from like Slovakia, Bulgaria, Hungary, which are going to pause EU motions for this.
Yeah, and it says here in summary, while no definitive end-to-end pinpoint exactly a potential end to activating in 2025, ranging from mid-year April to May to late December. So, and now let's just go. Who's ready? Who wants to go full conspiracy theory with me?
Sure.
Okay. So they're timing the stimulus. This is peak copium. They're timing the stimulus. Stimulus for all we need, guys, is we need the stimulus in the Q4. We need the Russian-Ukraine war to end. We need the Israel-Gaza shit to come to an end. We gotta make the crypto ETFs, mainly Solana ETFs, by Q4, and that's right there is going to be whatever we need to
Rate cut, Fed rate cut.
Sorry, exactly. The rate cut. The most important thing right now is we need some fucking rate cuts.
Yep.
One more. The Fort Knox audit. If gold's not there, it's gonna go crazy.
Yikes, bro. That is a super yikes,
Yep.
man.
I'll mention this.
Go ahead.
If the wars end between Russia and Ukraine, and if the Middle East cools down a bit, the price of oil and gas will fall by a good amount, because that's that currently that conflict's being priced into that, between the potential blockage for supply lanes in and out of the Middle East, because they don't know if Iran might move. Also, not only that, but you consume a ton of oil when you engage in war. And then not only that, but Russian supply would likely go back onto international markets, which would also massively drop the price of oil. So if oil prices come down thanks to both of these conflicts ending greatly, that'll also remove a lot of the inflation we've been seeing the past few years. And if that inflation gets removed much earlier than, right now I'm currently projecting, then, guys, we might be seeing rate cuts in early summer. Forget about September. Forget about what I mentioned with September. I'm just saying that because I'm assuming that if current conditions were to continue.
Sorry,
it could be June or earlier.
I wasn't laughing at you, Steve. I wasn't laughing at you.
All good.
I put something in I put a prompt. If you're a new crypto user and you need help with AI, you can use Grok. All you got to do is send this first prompt out here. I'll put it on the chat for you. Can you guys see that? It says, I identify as a retard, so please respect me when you address me. And it says, I'll respect your request. How can I assist you today, retard? So for you guys that are, crypto retards having trouble at home, make sure to put that prompt in and you'll be able to get your own personal
retard alert
from Grok itself. But really, guys, going back to everything, we're right now, the bottom line is this. This is the bottom line. And I think we saw this across the board. And it all started with Louis Raskin, who is, he's the real deal. He has made money, and he's not just said, I made money. He made money and he cashed out. Do you understand? That's like literally better than 99% of crypto Twitter. So we're going to look real quick here. Actually, let me pull up TradingView because it's way better for this. But yeah, in regards to Bitcoin, okay, we want to see this, and I'm just going to do Bitcoin USD for you guys just to make it very, very simple and easy, okay? So I'm just going to break it down a very, very, very simplistic level, okay? Now, what James was saying earlier, James Bitcoin was saying was right here. Once we kind of got up to this range here at 88,000 per Bitcoin, I would even argue to say, gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say even going to November 20th. I think from November 20th is when we have been kind of in this range. Was that fair to agree, gentlemen? Anybody want to interject an opposing opinion here about the 20th right here?
Yeah, it's been going between 90 to about 100, give or take,
right,
back and forth.
God, so we'll pull it back here to 19 on November 19th. So again, this is called ranging, right? And that means it's just staying in this range. Now, the longer Bitcoin does this ranging period, right? The longer that it does this, give me a second. Damn you, fucking trading Jew. Want my money. Let's see. Do you guys have TradingView accounts? Do you pay for it? I think I should.
Yeah.
Can somebody send me a super chat? I'm cash poor. Let me go back here. So here's the thing, chat guys, pay attention here, right here. See, we're ranging right here. So the thing is, when you range like this, what you're doing is you're storing up momentum. This is like a spring coiling back, and it's either going to bust upwards or it's going to bust downwards, but it's not going to stay the same. And the longer this spring coils, the more power it's going to go either up or more power it's going to go down. So
it's edging. Bitcoin's edging.
There you go. Bitcoin's edging. So that being said, right, we were again, this was like when the ETFs, we had this giant movement here from 51,000 giant movement up to 62, right? And that was just in a couple of days. And then from there, we broke down a little bit here around 54, but honestly, from this day, which was February 28th, right? We went from up, down, February 28th, all the way to about right here, which is November 5th, the day. Was it after the election or no? It was the day. When was the election? I don't know. Give me a second. So I'm gonna ask AI real quick. I'm show you guys how to do this at home. How many days from Feb 28th, 2024 to November 5th, 2024?
November 5th.
November 5th. Yeah.
It
So
was November 5th.
So that was that is crazy, dude. That now you look at it, and this is how you guys at home. This is how you see. It tells you here exactly how many days. So the difference is it was 251 days of basically sideways action. But when we had movement, it was gigantic. So where we are right now, to be honest, and this is how you make money in the big game, you got to place your bets now. Like literally right now, you got to place your bets and you got to cash out in Q4. Assuming the bull market's not over, which I guess in the international paddle, we do not think it's over, but that is how you're going to make money. You have to sit and be patient. You have to ride it up. You got to write it down. And that's it. There's no other way around this right here. It takes time for the price to compound. And right now, when everybody's depressed, everybody's suicidal, everybody's talking about how they hate their lives and crypto's a scam and there's scams left and right. Like this is where you plant your seeds to let your tree grow. And remember, a tree doesn't grow overnight. Tree doesn't grow. It takes time. And especially you got to take care of it. You got to water it. You got to look at it every day. Sometimes you're gonna have to cut certain things. You have to prune your tree, which is take some coins out that are not worth being in your portfolio anymore. Make a little health adjustments here and there. But that's what we did last year, guys. And we know people who planted their seeds and made millions. So it is possible, but you have to pay attention and be patient. What do you guys say?
Completely agree.
Yeah. Yep. It's you want to go into the market when it's quiet, not when it's moving.
Yes, exactly. So that's what's happening right now. So and the thing is, guys, this is where the money's made. If you can look at the data, look at what you think is going to happen in 2025. And then I think that's why we consistently have Steve on the on here, because TradFi, like I said, all-time high was just set in the S&P 500. So crypto is desolate right now, to be honest. It's not in a good sentiment. It's very bad. Very, very, very bad. Even let me go real quick. What's the fear and greed index at right now? Fear and greed is at 40. So the fear and greed is at 40. So people are more on the fearful side right now than they are on the greedy. It says neutral, but we're like halfway, and like we're veering into the fear category. And then if you just look here, people were greedy as hell, right after the election at the 83. So you have that also as an indicator to be paying attention to. So keep on paying attention. This is the unsexy part about crypto. This is watching the shows when the markets are down. This is collecting data when there's not a lot of money to be made out there. And when the market conditions aren't favorable for day in and day out kind of trading. So that being said, keep rocking and rolling, man. We're going to be here for you guys to the end of the year. And also, I need to know, and I need you guys to leave comments in the comment section, not the chat, the comment section. So I need you to reload the video and leave a comment if you are still wanting us to launch a crypto community, right? Because we have everything ready, but we just want to make sure the demand is there and you guys would actually want to join it. It will not be free because I do not want to attract people who are just going to waste time. We want to keep the quality of the group high. It will be about $500 to join for the whole year. And we want to get it going as soon as possible so we can start getting people up to speed. So if you're interested in that, just leave a comment, say, yes, I'm interested, because we'll have a whole course, a video course with it. It'll be a video course, a Telegram, and then we'll be doing monthly Zooms and probably weekly Zooms and more data there. But we want to make sure that this is what you guys want. So if this is what you guys want, let us know. If this is not what you want, also let us know. We're going to be back next week. So thank you guys for being with us today. This is the unsexy part. This is the uncool part of crypto. But if you pay attention now and you play your plays now, there's money to be made. Until then, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.